Hello, my name is Heidi Reagan, and I'm excited to get to share some things that I've learned about Seesaw. So last spring, when we got the lovely opportunity to go virtual, I had very few tools to get me through and to help my young learners, early learners, and a lot of them are just beginning readers or not reading at all. So that was also an obstacle that was put in place. And I kept reading on blogs, some of my teacher friends, about Seesaw and how great it was for the early learners and how much they were getting their kids involved and engaged. So during the summer, I took some virtual classes to learn more about this Seesaw and dig into it and find out what are some ways that it can be used in the kindergarten classroom and other ways it can also be used if we had to go virtual or remote or blended. And so I'm going to give you Heidi's top 10 Heidi's hacks for Seesaw. So it's everything you need to know you learned in kindergarten or from a kindergarten teacher. All right, here we go. So the first thing I want to talk about is it's a virtual portfolio at your fingertips. And I'm going to show you guys some slides, but then I'm also going to launch off into Seesaw. And that's one of the ways that I used it the first 3 days that we were remote is in my Google Classroom. They had their activities were linked to Seesaw, so they would hit the activity in the Google Classroom and it would send them straight to Seesaw. So it was perfect. They meshed together beautifully and it was pretty easy to do those two things. So the virtual portfolio, so it's going to open up and it's going to show you my page. And I apologize, you're going to see some kids' pictures and some kids' names, so just pretend that you don't. The portfolio is under journal, and the journal, I have a sample student, and in the journal, I can decide what things I want the kids to save. They can decide what things they want to save, and it just compiles over the course of a year. Now, this is like the first page in my classroom. So I just hit journal and I hit my sample student. I can view any of the kids' journals. And a little bit later, one of the top 10 hacks is parent involvement. They also are invited to view their child's journal and to be a part of it. So that I think is pretty exciting also. So, like I said, the journal is just going to store all of this work for me over the course of a year. Done. Don't have to push any extra buttons other than to hit the journal. Some things are automatically stored and it will just be stored over the course of a year. So that was hack number 10. Number 9. What was so appealing to me is what a great platform it is for our little learners. And when I talked about Google Classroom in the beginning and that I wasn't very techy, it was really hard for my little kids to get on and to figure out how to navigate and find things. Did they get better? Yes, they did. But a lot of it fell on parents. And so I thought there has to be an easier way. I want them to become more independent. And that's when Seesaw really spoke to me, because the kids can be more independent, and it's amazing the tools that they have to share their work. So I had a couple kids that didn't want to do flip grids. They didn't want to be videoed. They didn't want their face on it. So they were kind of behind the 8 ball then if they couldn't do that. Here on Seesaw, they get to choose how they want to share their learning with me. And these are the tools that they have available to them. So this is just one of the assignments I gave them in those first 3 days of school. And they can decide if they want to type their answer, record their answer, take a picture of their answer, and also with record, they can videotape if they wanted, or just an audio tape. It's totally up to them. They have these tools available for writing, coloring, drawing, highlighting, erasing. So it becomes up to them what they're comfortable with. It also, depending on the time of year, what I might encourage them if they're doing more writing to be doing the writing tools and not having to rely so much on the audio or the recording. But this just really gives them a chance to shine and to get to have their own voice, literally, and to share that with everybody, and to share that and to keep that in their journal. And they get a chance to see what their thinking was and hear their thinking. That was number 9. Number 8. So you can create your own worksheets in the matter of minutes. I struggled creating worksheets in Google Slides and having to insert text boxes wherever it was. That was painstaking for me and took a lot of time. When I saw how easy this was for Seesaw, it's a matter of minutes that I can create worksheets. So I am going to share that with you. There are 2 places on Seesaw that you can go to. They have a community of worksheets, which is one of our later hacks. This first one is, so you're going to go under Add, Assign an Activity, and you can see there's Community up there, and My Library. So anytime I find an activity that I like in Community, I hit the heart, and it automatically gets saved into My Library, and I can go back later and access it, and then actually assign it to my students. So I am going to show you really quickly how to create an activity, and what I'm going to use is one of our math worksheets that we get off of our teacher toolbox in iReady. I've been using these also on my Promethean because the kids can just write straight on it, and it's just so much easier than going through the steps to create a slide and then add it to our Activision, Active Inspire, and that this was so much easier. So I'm going to name it, and it's Math Lesson 3. Down here is where you get to type instructions for your students, and I'm going to go into a little bit more what the icons mean, but the icons, and then there's shortcuts to the icons, so that when you type this shortcut, an icon will appear when your kids see the actual instructions. So for the activity that I'm going to share with you, actually I will show you that template first so it makes more sense what my instructions are. So I took a screenshot from one of our math worksheets that the students would actually have in their math book, and I'm just going to upload it. There it is. Hit the green check mark, so then that now becomes what they're going to see. And this is what they're working on. They're working on finding groups of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then you can see all the tools that are here. Okay, go ahead and mark that. Now it's attaching it. So my template is attached, it's down there. And I'm going to start writing instructions. So number 1, I usually remind my kids to hit the plus mark, hit the green plus sign, and the icon or the shortcuts always have a colon, and then Robin will give you a sheet that has all the shortcuts on it. I made 2 copies and laminated them. I have one at home, one at school in case I ever need them. So I always remind my kids to hit the green plus sign, and that cues them that they're going to have the response. And after that, I want them to, I'm going to use the drawing shortcut. And I'm going to tell them color groups of 3 red. I'm going to do the same thing, put the drawing so that that's going to show up for them. Color groups of 4 green. I'm just going to do that really quickly. I would do more because we're learning more of the numbers, but I'm going to do that really quickly for us. And then at the end, I would want them to tell me, so I'm going to use the microphone icon. Oops. Record or tell me about 2 of your groups. And then they're going to hit record, and they can tell me how many are in the groups or what they chose for those groups, whatever it is they want to do. Then I also like to add voice instructions. So this is where, for my non-readers, beginning readers, this really helps them become more independent and more ownership for them. So I'm going to do voice instructions for them. All right, kindergartners, I want you to hit the green plus sign. Then you are going to color groups of 3 things red, color groups of 4 things green. Then I want you to record and tell me about 2 of your groups. You can tell me how many are in your groups, what they are groups of, which groups have more or less. Don't forget to hit the check mark and send it to me so I can see your great work. And I forgot to add that last little clue for them to send the check mark. That just reminds them that just sends the work, it's completed, and it gets sent to me, and then I get a chance to look at it. Hit the green button. All right, so now I've got my template attached, I've named it, I've hit the green plus, or I've done the student instructions, and I've added icons to go with it. They have voice instructions also. Now I'm going to hit save, and you'll get a chance to see it. That took it took a few more minutes than normal because I was explaining it to you, but how quickly did that just happen for them? And you can see right here, woohoo, awesome. They know exactly what to do. Because I created it, it has a heart, it's going into my library. When I'm ready to assign it, it stays in my library till I'm ready to assign it. Then I hit the assign button and send it out to my kids. So that was hack number 8, easy squeezy. Let's do number 7. You have access to a community of activities. So if you are in a bind and don't have time or haven't found an activity you really like, they have this amazing library of activities. So there is a paid version of Seesaw that is Seesaw Plus. I'm not exactly sure what the price is, that gives you access to more things in that community of activities. I don't have the paid version. I have found plenty of what I want. In fact, a lot of teachers that I read their blogs have punch activities in there, and then you just start finding people's work that really fits with what you're teaching or what goals you have in mind, and using theirs and checking theirs all the time. That's another thing I do. So in your activity library, now I'm going to go to community. And if I need, I always have it at kindergarten. If you have something specific that you're looking for, type it in and up pops a whole bunch of stuff. Other than that, it's usually seasonal, beginning of the year things, whatever things that you need. Amazing. So next week we are going to work on pumpkins. So let's do, I kind of like this activity. I love the story about Spookly. I'm just going to put it as a heart. Now it gets dumped into my library, so I don't have to go back and search for it. I can assign it to my class at any time I need to, and it's right there for me. This is a fabulous resource right here for you. All right, we are going to number 6. This is what I was talking about, the icon shortcuts. And this, I think, is a lifesaver. I'm sure the more that we use it, the easier it will be for us to learn what the icons are. If you are without the icons and you need to find them, there's a couple places. Pinterest, I have found sheets that teachers have made. The Seesaw Help Center has the icons right there for you in the shortcuts. Right under here, pop it up. Kind of tells me how to do it, but here is the sheet that the PDF that I ran off and I laminated and have a couple copies hanging around in case they ever need them. And a ton of things that you can do to help your students. All right, number 6. So let's go to 5. All right, a lot of us use Teachers Pay Teachers, and a lot of people, because of COVID and this last spring, have started linking Seesaw activities straight on the work that you buy from them. And this is just a sample of one that I use. We called it Riddle of the Day. And under her, whoops, let me go back. I won't click it, but under her, when I bought it, she had this whole page that has all of the links to it. I hit that link and it automatically deposits it into my library. So they're sitting in my library. I have all my October Riddles of the Day sitting in there. I go in and I click the one that I want and assign it. It's just nice, handy dandy right there. That's all I have to do. She has the instructions on there. She has, she's verbally reading it to them. She has the icons. It's all done for you. It couldn't be any simpler. If you ever get in a bind or you really like something that's there, they have amazing resources. All right, let's go to number 4. Okay, now I want to show you a sample of one of my kids' work, and this definitely sold me on it. How exciting to see our early learners have independence during their learning and to take control of it And because our early learners are so tactile and so go, 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 they are engaged because they are having to do it. They are manipulating it. They're not necessarily just standing there and taking all of the information in. They're actively becoming a part of it. So this was in one of those first 3 days of school, one of the activities I assigned from our beginning math. And okay, again, remember, pretend you don't see my student's name there or her picture. But I just wanted to share her her response to me and what she did. And I think what I had asked them to do was to circle all the circles on the picture and then to go find some circles in their house. So I hope that you can hear this okay. But here is my little sweet one.
Hey teacher, I found 8 circles. Whoa, cool, huh?
And tell her what's going on in the picture. What do you see?
It's raining in the picture too.
What else? Who are those people? And what are they doing?
They're students going on a bus.
Yes, they are. Very good.
I thought that was so exciting just to listen to her, and she is super excited about it. Of course, it's the beginning of school, and it's kindergartners, and they've got a Chromebook, and they're so cool because they're doing school. But she now took charge of her own learning and was involved in it. She chose how she wanted to respond to me. Her mom had taken a picture, but they had recorded her response. Some of the kids that did this actually did a video recording of their work for me, but it's totally up to the kids and what they feel comfortable with and what they want to try. So how exciting is that to see our kids taking risks, doing some of those things that get to really showcase themselves and their learning. Awesome. All right, number 3, the family component. It involves parents during learning. So I talked about the journal and how they have access to this. And when my parents first came for their conferences, I walked them through and I had the kids do their first lesson on it. So they were familiar with it. And so there's a couple places you can find this at. Under your settings, you can have, it talks about inviting families to become a part of their child's journal. I didn't choose to do it this way, but I think I might because I haven't gotten a whole bunch of response. The way I chose to do it was hit families here at the bottom, and I printed off, well, I guess it's the same thing. I printed off their invites, and I sent them home. And then the parents signed up, had a code to get involved with that. So now they are seeing their child's work. They're seeing any comments that I make back to the kids on it. Slick, so easy. And here it also gives parents, here's a QR code that's for them to get signed up on easily. It is just amazing and wonderful. And now parents are involved and excited about it. And this piece allows those of us that are in kindergarten, and if we are doing remote or blended and we need to do some documentation of their play, this is a great way for parents to help with that in the journal, is for them to be putting in journal entries of their play and helping their child do that. So another great thing that Seesaw has. And we will go back to number 2. So this, if you're not a kindergarten teacher, you can disregard, or maybe you want to use this in a different way. But what a great way for students, again, to take charge of their own learning and document and gather their own evidence about their play, their plan to review time. So this play journal, one of my colleagues found it, and she has it on her, because she is a blended, she has it on her Seesaw for her kids, so that each day part of what they do is some sort of journal entry. And again, the kids get to pick, is it going to be a picture? Is it going to be writing about it? Is it a video? Anything like that. And then this documentation now becomes what we can use for WA Kids. So it just opens up a whole new arena for us. In the classroom, when we go back and we're in the classroom, you can get a class code for your kids and have the iPads ready and able for them to pick up and use. They know the class code. They find their own avatar or their own picture. They hit that, and then they can go and snap a picture of a building they made or a shopping list they wrote about. How awesome is that? And then they could even dialogue about it and say what they were doing, what they learned from it, what they're going to do next. Just amazing, amazing evidence and documentation for you. All right. Number 1, I had to save the best for last because I'm totally sold. So get ready for some authentic evidence coming from your learners. And when I say authentic, this is pure, this is about them, this is their interest. That just gets me super excited, and then to get to hear how super excited they are. So I had to pick another recording again, pretend you didn't see the student's name. This kid is so excited. It is a piece of evidence from his learning. He kind of missed the target of the riddle of the day, but I just listened to, he did this just a couple days ago. When he first started doing these, he wasn't speaking a whole bunch of sentences to me or even using a lot of verbiage or words in his sentences. So I'm taking and looking at that piece. We will work on the comprehension piece a little bit later, or drawing him back to what the task at hand was. But I hope that you enjoy this little video.
Hello, teacher. Miss Reagan. I did a great job on my airplane. I made an airplane. It's so cool. And that was the best thing ever. Bye.
That just absolutely warms my heart to get to hear him. He greeted me. He said goodbye. He talked about what he did. He told me what he did a great job on, and he had so much pride in his voice when he did that. That just to me is exciting, and exciting learning that's happening for them. And then they are feeling it, and they're knowing that they're doing a good job. All right, so those were my top 10 hacks, Heidi's hacks for Seesaw. My last slide just are some more resources for you. As you get into it, new things pop up. Their help center is amazing. And also sometimes on that help center, you will find videos where teachers will walk you through maybe a question you have or something that you need help with. The Teachers Pay Teachers products that are linked to it, awesome resource. If you need something really quick that's going to match a standard or meet a goal that you're trying to get to, fabulous. There are some teachers doing some amazing things with Seesaw, and they have tutorials on YouTube, and I can't say enough. Just plug that in, and just to see the other things that they're using it for, amazing. And then use your colleagues. You know, anybody out there that's using it, blogs. A lot of early childhood teachers are using it. I know there's other teachers that are finding ways to use it too. Just get out there and dig and find out. If you have any more questions, I know I kind of breeze through things quickly. This is just kind of how I use it and what I think its value is. You can shoot me an email. You can call me. If you have some great ideas you want to share, that would be wonderful. And thank you for taking the time to learn about it. And I hope that you enjoy Seesaw as much as I have so far.